This is breaking news from KNWA.
All right, we begin here at 6 o'clock with brand new details and brand new video of this pedestrian accident and the arrest of two people on the University of Arkansas campus. Let me sum all this up for you here. You see one of the people being taken away in cuffs right now. We've learned at least two people, as you saw there, arrested. This happened shortly before 5 o'clock. Stadium Drive, where Garland Drive tees into Stadium Drive. We're told there was a collision between two vehicles, one of them that white SUV you see there. On the heels of that collision, a pedestrian was hit, suffered minor injuries. Now, that white SUV then careened down the hill next to Pomfret Hall. You can see that far drop it made. So we've got a two-vehicle crash, a pedestrian hit, minor injuries, and those two in cuffs. We've now learned the driver of that SUV arrested on suspicion of DUI and the passenger on a public intoxication charge. We'll continue updating this here on air and online at KNWA.com. All right, with that, thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Doug Warner. Our other top story tonight, the Washington County man caught hiding his child from police and a DHS worker in a secret compartment in his closet. Well, he's now headed to jail. This week, he changed his plea to guilty, sentenced to 4 years. You're looking at body cam footage captured by Taneytown police back in 2023, which shows the man removing a panel in the wall, revealing where he had been hiding his daughter. 42-year-old John Thompson of Taneytown will now spend 4 years behind bars. He changed his plea to guilty to false imprisonment and interference with custody, as well as a drug paraphernalia charge. Here's another look at that body cam footage. Thompson, again, showing police this secret compartment in the closet moments after police and DHS arrived to take that child into custody. He first told them the child wasn't there, but then later revealed where he had been keeping her. Well, tonight, concern for the safety of construction workers continues to grow after two back-to-back crashes in a Fort Smith construction zone this morning. They both happened on the Midland Bridge, one of them fatal. A motorcyclist killed on that bridge just after sunup. Now, on the heels of this violent morning in the River Valley, Arkansas's Department of Transportation again urging drivers to use caution when driving through work zones. This week is National Work Zone Awareness Week. KNWA's Gabriella Phelan in studio. And DOTD told you today that the problem of accidents in work zones really impacts everyone.
Doug, that's right. Dave Parker with RDOT shared with me that work zone accidents are an issue nationwide. And while the number of accidents in Arkansas has gone down in recent years, it's still too many. Parker also says practicing patience when driving through those work zones could save a life. Live in studio, Gabriella Phelan, KNWA Northwest Arkansas News. All
right, Gabriella, thank you. Well, it's an annual State of the Air report. It's now published. It's put out each year by the American Lung Association. It's a bit of a mixed bag. They overall say that Northwest Arkansas is doing okay. The report takes into account daily air quality as well as long-term effects on our ozone. Now, obviously, that's not video of our area, but you get the drift of what they're talking about. NWA ranked good in the day-to-day category. We actually received an A grade, but the Lung Association showed some concerns when it comes to our overall condition of the ozone smog, but they tell us it's not just our area that struggles.
I will say with ozone across the board throughout the country, we saw worsened ozone levels. Doesn't matter where you lived. And then short-term spikes in particle pollution, like I said, still on the cleanest cities list, 0 unhealthy days per year. So that's wonderful.
Well, tonight at 10, we'll hear from a local doctor who explains why checking the air quality can be beneficial for your health. Well, of course, this comes on the heels of news we told you a couple of nights ago. You'll remember the ongoing lawsuit just filed against EcoVista, the landfill in Taneytown. Residents who filed that class action suit say that site and some of the vapors it's emitting is hazardous to their health. You can find more details on that suit right now on our website, KNWA.com. Well, happening at the state capitol, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders has signed legislation to reconstitute the state's library board. The legislation immediately removes all members of the current board and allows the governor to replace them. The 7 new appointees will be given staggered terms to return to this process. Legislation to either abolish the board or abolish reference to the American Library Association policies is currently in limbo after the latest vote failed. Well, 13 days remain before Arkansans will be required to have a real ID to fly, not just internationally, but anywhere or enter a federal building. It's kind of important you get it done by May 7th. If you go to the airport, you can still board a flight, but the process will be much longer. TSA says travelers who don't have a real ID will have to answer a series of questions by phone through TSA's central office. The phone line is open to all airports in the U.S., which could mean an hours-long wait time for travelers.
If we have 1,000 people who don't have a real ID, that's going to be 1,000 people in that queue that we're working to verify. So you might say, but I'm the only one in Arkansas, but you're not going to be the only one in the country.
Now, some revenue offices will be open this Saturday to help those still needing to get the real ID. The one office in our area is the one in Fayetteville from 8 in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoon. Well, many of them may compete against each other on the athletic field, but today, local colleges working together, sharing ideas for the sake of their students. Northwest Arkansas Council and the University of Central Arkansas hosted a panel to discuss the role colleges and universities play in developing a future workforce. On this panel, leaders from UCA, University of Arkansas, and Northwest Arkansas Community College, in addition to discussing workforce readiness, they address benefits of the Access Act, which is designed to prepare students for in-demand careers.
These universities and colleges do work together on common priorities. And when it comes to things like economic development and community development and lifting up families and opportunities for students, those are all things that we agree on. So seeing that that's a common message and a common value that we share, that's the number one thing.
And during the panel discussion, leaders also said it's important for colleges to ensure their students can adapt to a changing workforce. All right, video you don't want to miss. A Vietnam veteran returns to the site of the war 50 years later. Still to come, the moment he comes face to face with his former enemy.
I just fear it's not going to end well.
Well, now at 10 o'clock, the reward money for Arkansas escapee and convicted killer Grant Hardin, up to $25,000. We'll have those details straight ahead.
We are serving a life sentence for what he did to our son.
A convicted murderer responsible for killing a Fort Smith man and stabbing 2 Sebastian County deputies receives his more than 100-year sentence. Plus, an update on the ongoing lawsuit between the residents of Tawnytown and a local landfill that they say is keeping them sick. The latest from the Arkansas Department of Energy and Environment. Your news at 10 o'clock starts right now.
Proudly covering the Northwest Arkansas community. This is KNWA News at 10.
Well, the nationwide manhunt continues tonight for escaped killer Grant Hardin, who walked out of a North Arkansas prison on Sunday. Questions about his past and his ties to Northwest Arkansas have been swirling ever since. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Allie Lynch. After obtaining a nearly 200-page file from Fayetteville Police Department, we learned Washington County's former sheriff worked alongside Hardin. KNWA's Gabriella Phelan reports.
As the manhunt for Grant.
And that was our Gabriella Phelan reporting. Today, the Commission on Law Enforcement Standards and Training told us Hardin's not decertified, but as a convict, he obviously cannot work as an officer. Hardin did not receive his certification from Fayetteville PD, and after his firing from there, he went to work for Huntsville PD. It's unclear if that's where he earned his certification. Well, an update tonight from the Arkansas Department of Corrections. They say their focus remains in the North Central Arkansas region for their search teams. Officials tell us they have looked into and investigated all of the tips from the public. At this time, none of them have come to fruition. The reward money has increased on any information regarding Hardin's whereabouts. There are 2 rewards currently being offered, $20,000 from the FBI and $5,000 from the U.S. Marshals, for a combined reward of $25,000. Anyone with information is asked to call 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. And we want to remind you about our all-new 479 streaming channel, now on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. There you can keep up with the latest stories from the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, including our extensive coverage of Grant Hardin's escape from prison. Also on 479 First, up-to-date weather from Zach and the rest of your Authority weather team, plus highlights and exclusive interviews from the Pig Trail Nation. All you have to do is search 479 First on your favorite streaming device
and start watching. Well, earlier today, the convicted murderer who stabbed 2 Sebastian County officers was sentenced to 200 years behind bars. John Anthony Cole had previously been convicted of murder in Arizona, but was staying at the Sebastian County Detention Center for the killing of Jeremiah Hawthorne. While jailed there, he stabbed Officer Jacob Marr and Brandon McCaslin, both of whom have recovered. At his sentencing today were Hawthorne's parents, his mother taking the stand, facing the man who murdered her son.
We've been waiting so long for this day, and it just means the world that it's finally over and justice has been served for Jeremiah. I just wanted him and everyone to know the impact it's had on our lives, and how our lives have changed. We are serving a life sentence for what he did to our son.
And during Cole's sentencing, he tried to read a statement of his own in court that was airing his grievances, but the judge told him he could not finish his statement. He then refused to be in the room anymore and was sitting in the hallway while he was sentenced to 200 years in prison. Well, we also have an update for you tonight on the ongoing struggle between the Eco Vista landfill and Tawnytown residents over the last few weeks. The Arkansas Department of Energy and Environment has been conducting tests of the air quality near the landfill. Their testing is now complete, and the department will release its findings sometime within the next 90 days. And you can find our extensive coverage of this story right now on our website, KNWA.com. Well, a week of civic engagement, stepping out of comfort zones and owning a sense of social service culminated at the Arkansas State Capitol this week for the 84th Arkansas American Legion Boy State Delegation. Each year, the delegation elects a candidate to lead them in the coming year. Our Mike Rogers spoke with Boy State's newly elected governor.
Sunday, they arrived.
And that was Mike Rogers reporting. Layla Taylor from West Memphis was elected by her delegation as Girls State Governor for the 2025-2026 year on Wednesday night. Well, more and more states around the country are pushing to limit junk food and soda purchases with food stamps or SNAP benefits, Arkansas being on that list. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins says that junk food is the highest food group spent with SNAP benefits each year. Congressional Republicans are also looking to add new work requirements for who is able to receive SNAP, a move that has both support and pushback.
Those families want to spend money on their sugary drinks or junk food, that's their choice, but taxpayer dollars should not be used to fund that sort of product.
There are a lot of children and families that are depending on SNAP and the ability to get food into these homes.
And Congress returns next week, where the Senate is slated to begin their work on the bill. The Old Fort Days Rodeo is back in action in the River Valley. Still ahead, the reason behind its popularity in Fort Smith. And the Diamond Hogs taking down North Dakota State this afternoon to advance in the winner's bracket of the Fayetteville region. And one guy in the bottom half of Dave Van Horn's lineup made that difference during today's game. Our Pig Trail Nation team breaks that down coming up.
Well, lawmakers are wanting to consolidate the State Library Board and the Arkansas Education Television Network Commission all under one umbrella, the Department of Education umbrella. Now at 5, why lawmakers are making this push.
And one technology manufacturer announced a new development that will add more than 400 jobs to Springdale. We'll tell you more about their big announcement tonight at 5.
And we are live in Hot Springs for the annual Broyles Award honoring the best assistant college football coach in the country. KNWA News at 5 starts right now.
This is breaking news from KNWA.
And breaking this afternoon, we've learned former Arkansas Governor Jim Guy Tucker has died. He passed away in Little Rock. Tucker served as the 43rd governor of Arkansas, serving from 1992 to 1996. He was the lieutenant governor under Bill Clinton's second term in office and assumed that office after Clinton resigned to become the president of the United States. Tucker himself was forced to resign in 1996 after being convicted of misapplying funds as part of the Whitewater investigation. Then Lieutenant Governor Mike Huckabee became Arkansas's governor. Tucker was 81 years old. And tonight we stay in Little Rock with a flurry of action from a number of lawmakers. Good evening, I'm Doug Warner.
And I'm Sonia Hill. Thank you so much for joining us tonight at 5. A bill that would remove the State Library Board and the Arkansas Educational Television Commission and put them under the Department of Education passed in a Senate committee today at the state capitol.
Instead of having independent oversight, both would be a part of a much larger government entity. KNWA's Caroline Derby reports from Little Rock.
Both of these institutions are very consequential to the state of Arkansas. They may not.
That's Caroline Derby reporting. This bill now heads to the full Senate.
And also at the Capitol, a bill for funding student athletes failed in committee Wednesday afternoon. We first reported on the bill yesterday, House Bill 1044. It would have allowed higher education or affiliated nonprofits to hold raffles on game day to fund scholarships or pay athletes for using their name, image, or likeness. Back in 2021, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in favor of using NIL for student athletes to make money. Previously, student athletes were not allowed to be paid.
Well, shining a light on the medical field today, the Arkansas Nurses Association held their Nurses Day at the Capitol. A very busy Little Rock today. Legislators listened to nurses and student nurses as they advocated for their patients. Their goal was to show lawmakers how they're making a positive impact on healthcare policy.
It's a giving profession and it's a very rewarding profession. So again, we're just here to try to build up the profession and make it better for the next generation of nurses and patients that they're going to care for. That's our focus.
Over 650 licensed nurses, nursing students, and nurse faculty from around the state were at that event today.
A global electronics manufacturer announced it will invest $28 million to relocate its Fayetteville plant to Springdale. Keytronics develops various electronics products for both consumers and manufacturers here in the U.S., Mexico, China, and Vietnam. The company currently has a plant in Fayetteville, but announced today it will move operations to Springdale. The move will add roughly 400 jobs over a 5-year period, both in direct labor and executive roles.
What we're really going to aim to bring to our community here is a lot of clean tech manufacturing jobs. We're going to work very diligently with our community resources and focus on training those individuals and providing them a career path where they can come work here at Keytronic and retire here.
The move is expected to increase Keytronic's U.S. production capacity by about 40%.
Well, tonight is the night for the Frank Broyles Award. We are live in Hot Springs for this nationwide event named after the former legendary University of Arkansas football coach.
That's right, and we turn now to our very own Jacob Morris, who is live in Hot Springs. He is awaiting the big announcement. Jacob, how's it looking out there?
Hey, Sonia, Doug, good evening. Good to be with you. You said it tonight, the 29th award winner of the Broyles Award announced here in Hot Springs. And there's much more to come at 6 from Golden, as well as 10 after the ceremony is over. But for now, from Hot Springs, I'm Jacob Morris. Doug, Sonia, let's send things back to you.
All righty, Jacob, thank you so much. And you at home, you can actually watch this ceremony live in just a few hours. We are live streaming the presentation over on our website beginning at 7:30 tonight. Just head on over to KNWA.com and click on the Watch tab at the top of the home page.
Well, driving on the snow and ice isn't one of our favorite things to do, now is it? Now imagine you're a delivery driver. You really don't have a choice. Well, tonight at 10 on an all-new The Good Stuff, there is one delivery driver who went above and beyond and above again, all because of the snowball effect. Here's a preview.
There was about 3 inches of snow.
Eduardo Garcia admittedly isn't that much of an outdoorsman and no fan of hiking. And to be honest, on a snowy night about a month ago,
you don't have control of your truck.
He was no fan of driving in it either.
My front tire got stuck there on the big hole.
Eduardo's night of making deliveries for Walmart seemingly came to an end in this ditch. And that included a pretty important package being tracked a couple of miles away in this house on a hill by pretty determined Brooke Kotchell.
And then I would get a message, it's been delayed. Well, that's understandable, you know.
Now, she wasn't waiting on a delivery of groceries, but something in that moment on that night was much more valuable than anything Walmart has ever sold before.
Ooh, okay, stop, please.
Tonight at 10 o'clock on The Good Stuff, how Brooke wasn't about to let a few inches of snow and ice.
Oh, I thought I saw lights.
And a delivery driver stuck in the ditch.
I told her straight, like, I'm not going to make it.
Prevent her from getting her hands on that very important package for her husband, Charles.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
All right, well, that's tonight at 10. Well, ahead here at 5 o'clock, after a human death from the bird flu in Louisiana, there is a new hotspot in the U.S. We will take you there ahead.
Plus, Elon Musk is making his latest recommendation as he continues to review government spending and practices. Hear what he suggests the nation should do. But first, Zach, it's a busy day in the weather department today.